Alright guys, so welcome to another edition of Star Wind Aquariums. So now we're going to talk about macroalgae. So this is just my 20-gallon little sump refugium thing I made, right? So today's focus is, let's see what macro to talk about. Okay, let's do this red Garcilaria, or however you pronounce it. So here you are. So the first thing I do, like people think like, oh, it's a red macroalgae, so you have to have blue lights on there. Well, not necessarily, because this is the only red that I've grown that can just really grow well under 65K Kelvin light, 55 or 5000K, which is more of a bluer light, but you can have a 65K and grow this very well. It sucks up nutrients very well, and you see I have it with a lot of Caulerpa, Ova, and different, and a little bit of Chaeto. I don't really grow too much Chaeto in here. I put a little small one, but the tank right next to it, this 10-gallon, is where I grow Chaeto. So pretty much you just need a little bit of flow. I have the return pump from the 40-gallon breeder up top to give it enough flow. Really don't put a lot of flow in here. I just want the light to just really hit, but I shake it, you know, every once in a while in here so you can get the debris and all the excess pieces of macro and dirt that's coming from, pretty much sand that's coming down. Now I do add iodine to it. People say, oh, it doesn't do anything, but for a red macro you only need 1 drop, and I'll show you what that is. And I use the Kent Lugals, and I do, like, I really don't put too much because my water is already high in iodine, and so I do drop like 1 drop every month maybe, or if I do a water change. I don't do too many water changes in this tank because I want the nutrients to stay at least at a medium grade. Too high you might get other pests, but my tank is pretty much well established, so I don't really get pests like that. If I do, then I do a quick maybe a 10 to 15% water change, and bam. So red Garcilaria, I cannot pronounce it. I've heard so many different terms to it. You can, some people say you can tumble it and it'll grow faster. I've had success in a very nice rich red color, as you can see, just what I'm doing now. This came at like a little frag piece, and now it's pretty much well established. Nice green, not falling apart. When I first tried to grow this, I know I didn't have enough nutrients. It got brittle and white and it died. So this technique is pretty much doing very well. There's so much macro in here that I'm pretty sure it's competing for everything else, but it's growing very well. So don't let people lie to you and say you need this blue 460 nanometer light and all that craziness. It grows very well, just stagnant under this light. I keep this light on for about anywhere from 18 hours maybe, and I transition the light right here because this is a 5000K. I turn that one on, but this one heats up because it's a CFL. This one right here is a LED. So LEDs don't get too hot, so I keep this one on, and I transition sometimes. Sometimes I have them both on, especially at night. They're on for at least 14 hours, and then maybe or maybe not, I might turn this one off, the CFL, and then I might leave this one on. Or some days I might have a dark period for at least 10 to 15 hours, and bam, I turn that off. And so I get great growth, guys. Like, great growth. I do dose iron, I do dose magnesium, and it's just wonderful. And so I have a lot of growth, which I do need to sell some of this stuff because it's getting to a point where I have too much macro in here. And when you have too much macro, then obviously your nutrients are getting sucked up way fast. I tested the water parameters yesterday. There's 0 nitrate in the system, so it's really out competing. Everything's getting sucked up pretty fast, so that means I might have to start dosing nitrate, which I don't like to do sometimes, but just a smidge of it it'll go a little far away, but I just rather have the natural organic nitrate and phosphate that's in there. Phosphates were very low, so the water quality is very well. If you keep macroalgae, the water quality is very clean. Everything's nicer. You don't have to do too many water changes, but you do have to dose. You do have to dose because everything's out competing. And then if you do let this die, or you do let a water change happen, oh my God, like catastrophe. Everything's gonna melt away, and you're gonna have little bits and pieces of macro all in your tank, and you're not gonna like it. Trust me, I've done it at least 10 times in the last 2 years when I was trying to figure out the best way to grow macro. Do not change it very fast. It's just like corals. You do a drastic change, the corals are going to look at you all stupid like did you really just change the parameters like at a fast rate like that, like the temperature? These things are very sensitive, and especially with the red Garcelia. Wow, yeah, do not make changes. Like even lights, if you switch out your lights, like I'm getting new lights, I don't know for how long. I know SB Lights, just shout out to SB Lights. I ordered one, but it's taking 3 weeks because it's in China somewhere, and I don't know when it's going to get here. Labor Day's coming up, probably not going to get it till next Wednesday, and that's like 5 days from now. So I'm gonna have to turn the nozzle down real low, because a shocking light, like especially with a red macro, it obviously bleaches out, it turns pink or white, and then it dies off. So please, when you're changing your lights, be aware of the wattage of your lights, be aware of the Kelvin or just anything, because if you cannot dial it down and you put those high lights on the macro, it will wither away. Some for the greens, they may like that, like yay, strong light and grow faster. But for anything, you have to acclimate, and please do not just whop it with light and thinking, oh man, they're gonna grow faster. Sometimes, and sometimes you're just gonna kill everything, and it's gonna melt away, and then you're gonna have a crappy tank. So from advice and many mistakes, please do not do that. And a lot of people always ask me about, oh, how do I make it grow? If your tank is too clean, nothing's going to grow. That means you have a well-established tank. There's no extra nutrients in there. For me, I'm not doing a coral tank on top. This is just macros everywhere, so I don't have to worry about, phosphate and nitrite being too high or too low. I can pretty much dose without killing any fish, because you do have to be aware, if you dose too much like I have before, you will kill your fish. I've killed plenty of fish, maybe $200 worth of fish in my time from mistakes. So when you are dosing monosodium or monophosphate, whatever it is, I forgot, I don't have it with me right now, please like dose like 1/4. If depending on your volume, do not dose a lot. If you're not sure, just dose a little bit a day, test your water and see how it goes. So guys, like, you look at the page, I have plenty of videos, do's and don'ts about macro and all that. I've been doing this for almost 3 years. Just be smart about it. Take my advice. Any questions, please do ask. I've done this and killed so many things, and you can see even one strand right here, I think this is Galaxia, it's turning a little bit pinkish because it needs a different light spectrum. I do have another tank where I keep it, and it's doing very well, but this species is not doing well to high phosphates or high nitrite. So depending on the species and all that, you cannot mix every macro together, because they have spore war too, and they release toxins inside the tank, and it can kind of like not let the other one grow. So obviously I do skim sometimes. I used to, but then I found out skimming too much killed my tank. It made it crystal clear, but it sucked up the nutrients and it killed it. So now I just do like, I change out the media filter, I put this other filter in there, and I suck the the brown or whatever, the high iron, and then I take it out, or I do a slight water change, or I just keep cleaning out the filters over and over until I get the gunk out. And so please do not over skim. When you have a macro tank and people think, oh, I need a skimmer or whatnot, do skim, but do not over skim. And you can use like what's it, poly filter, suck up all the excess nutrient metals and whatever's in your water. Just use that. Please do not dose any chemicals, because that doesn't do well. It may give an ill effect. And so I just been jabbing around. I was supposed to focus on this, but this is some great stuff right here. Great advice. And so yet again, listen to it unless you want to waste your money and not grow. So thanks guys for watching Star Wind Aquariums. It's been a pleasure being on YouTube. Really been neglecting it, but I plan on making a lot more videos now. And please subscribe to my videos. Please go to eBay, Star Wind Aquariums, and if you can't find that, look at the link on my page and you'll find the store. And yeah, happy reefing, happy macro algae growing, happy coral growing. Whatever you do, do it well. Thanks guys.